Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to the final panel. We have a great panel lined up for you. So as we get settled, as you get settled, I just wanted to say a few quick words, I suppose by way of introduction to this panel. Sitting here yesterday, I was very struck by the very strong relationship between the theatre of war and freedom of expression. So we know that theatre makers react to war, represent war, respond to war. But we also saw very vividly how theatre makers must also battle to be heard and to be seen, battle not to be forgotten, battle to be remembered. And to stand in the stage of the Abbey Theatre is really to have that link between freedom of expression and the theatre of war reinforced very strongly. So you think back to 1925, very famously, this was the first theatre in the English-speaking world to get a state subsidy from the new Irish Free State. So what did the Abbey do? Well, almost the very first thing it did was to set out to offend very strongly the principles of that new state, which it did by staging Sean O'Casey's play about war, The Play on the Stars, a play about 1916. And I suppose what Sean O'Casey did with The Play on the Stars is not to tell the truth, because that's really the job of the historian, but instead to say the unsayable. In The Play on the Stars, he says unsayable things about whether that revolution was worth it, whether the free state that had come into being was worth fighting and worth dying for. And he gave visibility to people who had none, working class Dubliners, women, and a great many others as well. So Yeats and Gregory may not have agreed with that perspective, but they fought very vigorously for O'Casey's right to explore it. And they hurt people. And they offended people, and they provoked an awful lot of hostility, but they kept the subsidy. And the long-term significance of that really cannot be exaggerated. You know, at a time in Europe when theatre censorship was the norm, it was the norm in Britain, in the United States, throughout Europe as well, Ireland didn't have a theatre censor during the 20th century, never had one. Now, perhaps it never needed one because, to some extent, theatre artists censored themselves. But throughout the history of this state, we find our theatre artists saying those unsayable things, often in the face of resistance. I recently came across some information about how some bishops from the west of Ireland in 1958 decided that Ireland needed a theatre censor. So what did they do? Well, they didn't stand outside the Queen's Theatre with placards saying, "Down with this sort of thing." Instead, what they did is they contacted their counterparts in the United States. And those American bishops, in turn, contacted their politicians. And the American politicians, in turn, contacted the Irish government and said, "You must introduce theatre censorship." It shows what way the wind was blowing in the 1950s, that the Catholic Church had to go to America. But the Irish government said no, they refused. And as a result of that, certain things happened where pilgrimages to Ireland were discouraged with economic impact. And we see theatre makers continuing after the 1950s. You know, in 2009, we were all shocked by the Ryan Report about institutional abuse. But here in the Abbey Theatre, over in the Queen's, in the early 1960s, Richard Johnson had written a play called The Evidence I Shall Give, which explored and indeed expressed what was happening in institutional schools throughout the country, nearly 50 years before it was spoken about openly. And this continues. It continues even into the present. I suppose you could say, you know, we in Ireland, we don't have wars anymore, we have referendum campaigns. And at the moment we're engaged in a referendum campaign about the issue of marriage equality. And what we hope is that this campaign will be met by open discussion, by frank discussion. We will have the right to offend each other. We'll call each other names. We'll say rude things on Twitter. But we will do it nevertheless. And the openness of that debate is possible really because of one thing. A year ago, it looked like that debate would not be open, would not be frank, and that it would be stifled. And what changed that was Panty's speech on this stage, the noble call, a call for openness and a call for justice. And it happened in this theatre. So the people who say the theatre can't change anything, I mean, it has. It's changed our democracy. It's made this a better place to live in. Not always and not always well, but it has done it. And so for that reason, it is great to hear today from three speakers for whom that link between censorship and the theatre of war is so strong. So I'll introduce very briefly the three speakers to you, and I'm going to go in reverse order. So our last speaker today will be Iman Aoun, who is artistic director of Ashtar Theatre in Ramallah, and a major Palestinian actress as well. So she will be our last speaker today. The middle speaker will be Vladimir Scherban, who is director and co-creator of Belarus Free Theatre, and he will speak about his work with the company. He will be speaking in his own language and will be translated simultaneously during his talk. But can we please then welcome our very first speaker, who is Frédérique LeComte, who is the founder and main facilitator of the Theatre and Reconciliation Method. Thank you.
Good morning. Bonjour. I'm a French speaker. I'm going to try my best to speak better English. Well, I'm a play director. I'm doing theater in conflict zones, especially in Congo and in Burundi. And I'm doing theater with the community, people, and for the community. I just have a team of professional artists with me in Burundi and in Congo, but most of the people I'm working with, also in Belgium, are not professional actors. The way I'm working in Europe and in Africa is the same way. In Africa, in Burundi and Congo, it's conflict zone or post-conflict zone for Burundi. I'm working with different kinds of person, victim of torture, raped women, albinos, prisoners, displaced people, women, and so on. And the thing I like to do, and also the NGO who ordered me to do this kind of job, is to put people together which are in conflict. For example, I work with victims of torture and torturer in the same time, with prisoners and displaced people in the prison in the same time. It was the beginning then of Theatre and Reconciliation, because I didn't plan to do that. It happens like that. The thematic I'm working with, I'm going to put some photography, then it runs. This is child soldier in RDC Congo. Well, the thematic I'm working is the thematic the people bring to me. For example, child soldier, it's about the way they were engaged in the army, what they have to do, did they have to mine, where are their parents, did they lose their parents, how it can happen, they were raped, and also all the girls I'm working with there, also in RDC Congo, are all raped. They were also warriors, some of them, but most of them were raped. And every year I make a performance with both sides, the girls and the boys, 35 boys and 35 girls, in open air. That's why I say the theater is with the community and for the community. It's not a mainstream theater, it's an open air theater, and it's for between 2,000 and 5,000 people watching the performance. It's a very huge community who can see the performance. It's always in the maternal tongue, of course. I'm not speaking Swahili and Kirundi, but my assistant and the professional I'm working with are always translated what I'm saying. And they always translate what the people are saying. And it's not an obstacle to work not in my mother tongue. It's in a way it's easier because we have to find the way to understand each other. And it's very important because those people are suffering so much, are very traumatized, and then it's very hard to try to speak. Then the rehearsals are very funny also, because in this kind of area, you can't even put one more stone on their heads. It's very difficult. And what they have to share, if they want to share, it's very difficult also. Then there are two parts in the way I'm working. It's one side is a cathartic way. Then I try that the people speak about their story. And also I put those improvisations on stage, and then I direct them to make a performance. Another side is a cathartic one, and the other side is funny, because I have to reach a very big audience with little children, with people who never have seen theater before, and then it's very, very popular. Also, the public I'm reaching normally are not reached by other media. They can't, most of them are illiterate, and the people I'm working with also. And they don't have any radio. If they have a radio, they don't have any battery or the money to buy battery. Or if, of course, they don't have any paper, then the people are the most lost. It's the end of the humanity. It's the chaos. There is nothing there, even more. And, okay, what I say that I let the people without voice speaking. And sometimes it's the first time they can share what they have faced during their war life, losing all their family, killing people, like this child soldier, raping girls. And I also work about the truth. For example, in Burundi, I was working with people from both sides, or three sides of the conflict, Hutus, Tutsi, and Twa, and putting together, we will see, this is a play in Belgium about capitalism. This is on stage. It's not 3,000 people there, just a few like you. And then, well, what I say, there are different objectives. Of course, I'm making theater. I'm doing theater. This is my main objective. But crossing theater, you can have, this is victim of torture and torturer together. There are other objectives. Of course, there is a healing objective. It's not mine, but it happens. It's also a reconciliation objective. It's not mine, but it happens. It only happens if the people are agreed to reconciliate. You can do this kind of theater between, for example, in Israel, between a Palestinian and Israel. It's impossible, because it's also a very political theater. To say, to tell the people, to perform from this huge audience, and speaking not about weather, but about war, what about what they think the truth is, about their own history, about the way they are living, about the way they are frustrated, and the way they were manipulated during the war. This is very politic, and I'm doing a very political theater. That's why it's very dangerous when you are doing that during the war, because you can be killed during the performance. then you have to balance your point of view. Then everybody can hear the point of view of everybody. This is the challenge. The effect of theater and reconciliation, I don't like very much the name theater and reconciliation. It's very fashionable. But it's, you know, it's easier for me to take this label to have the interest of the people, the founder. But I don't like the words because it's not very well. Okay, the effects are for the participant. This is the performance about truth and reconciliation. And this is the people who are, this is about sex in Belgium. It's another kind of thing, but it's the same way of working. Huh? Then, okay, you can see, well, this is the same job. It's just the people who are different. And then the effect for the participant, of course, they increase their self-confidence, they can share their trauma, a kind of healing, and so on. They recognize themselves to the problem of the others. And for the public, the audience also, there is big effect. Then you can see the big audience. This was a performance about justice, transitional justice. What is justice in Burundi? It was during the war. You can see military people there in the audience. It was quite dangerous at that moment. Okay, and for the public also, when I hear the testimony of the public, they said, well, if the people are screaming so hardly, so loudly, what we are all thinking, something is going to change in our country. Because theater is a very democratic way to speak about politics. And this is the point. It's not only to have fun and to heal the people. It's also because we have I have, and I think all of us have to tell the people to try to understand in which trap we are, and they are especially. For example, the child soldier, this is prisoners in prison of Burundi, condemned to death, but now they are part of my team. This is, qu'est-ce que je disais? It's political. Okay, we have to, with the people I'm working with, deconstruct the way, why they are in that situation, economic situation, war situation. And because we are peacekeepers, but we are also feeding the war with the same money. In one hand, we give arms. In the other hand, we bring peace, like me. It's very contradictory. It's not because you give money to the UNICEF and to MSF, and I don't know, that you feed the peace. You also feed the war. And you feed also the peace industry. And I'm a part, sorry, but I'm a part of the peace industry. And I'm also trapped. But when I'm working with child soldier, I try to deconstruct this situation in theater, of course, but not in a sociologic paper. And then that's why it's very political, and that's why it's very powerful. It's powerful because we said that everybody is thinking and nobody is telling it in this kind of condition. Also, I'm working, I told you that I'm doing theater, but to reach the people, the vulnerable people I'm working with, I don't like the word also, but it's a word using by NGOs, vulnerable, gender equality, and so gender violence, and so on. This is the vocabulary we have to use. And the rehearsals are very light, and we have to empathize a lot with the people who are part of the project. And then, I don't know how many times? Okay, I'm going to show you the little movie of 3 minutes, the trailer. The photography was from Benjamin Géminel from France and Véronique Vercheval from Belgium. And now I'm going to show you and translate in the same time.
Tendance à penser que les enfants soldats,
you think that child soldier I lose for the society?
Extrêmement violents,
they are violent.
De bien, de mal,
they don't have any notion of good and bad. They lose your humanity, but
moi, je vois pas ça du tout.
I don't think that at all. I'm crying because I'm alone. She's crying because she's alone. She lost everything, her house, her village, her childhood. I'm crying because I saw my parents dying, and they hurt me. And her child is the fruit of the rape, but she loves her. This is a part of my journal. I ask them how they come into the army. The little boy tells me that he killed somebody and he will send to the army, and he's crying. Then I make a big mistake. One animator of the BVS told me, stop the discussion, and I stopped. It's like I abandoned the little boy with his crime. I had to make a scene with this what's testimony, because it tells me these things. I have to take distance, to theatralize what he said, but you are afraid about this testimony. You want to hide yourself, but at that moment you have to face the music. Sometimes you do not. I'm ashamed. This little boy could be my son. It's not a good translation in French also. It says, we are going to build another world. We are building or going to build another world. I live in the forest with army. The first time I went to the battlefield, I killed 6 men. I killed 6 men, and I have a prize, military grade. After all those years, they bring me to the theater, and I saw how theater can respond to my personality. And now I can go wherever I want to do and teach theater. The weapon is your father. The weapon is your mother. The weapon is your daughter, sister. If you have weapons, you have everything. Thank you very much.
Merci, Frédérique. Доброе утро.
Good morning.
Вы меня слышите?
Can you hear me? And me?
Отлично, да. Я Владимир. Я хочу вас поблагодарить. Это подвиг.
I would like to thank you.
for coming here this morning.
Это подвиг прийти в субботу утром в театр.
Because it's such an effort to come here on Saturday morning. Heroic effort.
Меня зовут Владимир
My
Shcherban.
name is Vladimir Scherban.
Я режиссер и со-креатор
I'm a co-creator and a director of Belarus Free Theatre.
Немножечко о этих трех
A
словах.
little bit about these three words.
Все мы знаем, что такое театр. Мы
We all
сейчас
know
в
what
театре.
theatre is. We're in the theatre now.
Мы знаем, что такое free.
We all know what free means.
Не ирландцам рассказывать.
I don't have to tell this to the Irish.
И это действительно, это еще и бесплатно. Мы играем
And also
спектакли
this means free, because we perform for free
в Беларуси.
in Belarus.
И слово «Беларусь».
And the word Belarus.
Я думаю, что вся проблема в этом слове.
And the whole problem, I think, is in this word.
Беларусь такая страна, которая
Belarus
находится
is a country
географически в центре Европы.
geographically situated in the middle of Europe.
Но на самом деле такая черная дыра.
But in reality, it's a black hole.
Это бывшая часть Советского
It
Союза,
used to be its former Soviet Union republic,
которая в 91 году Советский Союз
which in
развалился,
1991, when Soviet Union split up,
и Беларусь обрела суверенитет и независимость.
became an independent state.
И это были замечательные времена
Those were
свободы,
great times of
свободы
freedom
слова и так далее.
And the freedom of speech.
И даже
and
более
so
того,
on.
у нас были выборы
And we had
президента
presidential elections
в 94 году.
in the 1994.
Были выборы, в результате которых пришел к власти
As a result of this presidential election,
скромный деревенский парень
this
Александр Лукашенко.
shy guy from a Belarusian village, Alexander Lukashenko, became a president of our country.
Он стал первым президентом
He
Беларуси,
became the first president.
и он до сих пор
He
президент.
still is a president.
То есть уже 21 год.
It's been 21 years,
Это значит, что выросло целое поколение людей,
which means we have a whole generation of people who
которые не знают, что такое выборы.
don't know what election is.
Хотя они проходят.
But we still have elections.
И, наверное, все-таки они знают, потому что многие
And I
отсидели
think
в тюрьму.
they know, because some of them were in prisons already,
Потому что последние президентские выборы у нас случились
because the
в
last
декабре.
presidential election in December of 2010
Это были очень специфические выборы,
were
потому что
very specific,
еще до закрытия
because
участков
even
для
before the
голосования
voting polls were closed,
кандидатов начали сажать в тюрьму.
the candidates were put in prison. They were arrested. The
Из
oppositional
11
candidates.
кандидатов 9 оказались в
Out of
тюрьме.
11 oppositional candidates, 9 were in jail.
Да, вот такие выборы.
This is kind of
Это
elections
все
we
происходит
have.
в центре Европы.
And this all happens in the middle of Europe, in the
Так
center.
что всегда кажется, что какие-то страшные вещи происходят где-то там.
We'd like to think that the scary things happen somewhere out there
Руанда.
in Rwanda, in Burundi.
Но на самом деле это все
But
происходит
in
с
reality, this
европейцами.
happens with the
И
European
я
people.
думаю, что наш опыт очень может быть
And I
полезен
think our experience could be very useful
для всего Европейского Союза, потому
for the
что
European Union.
то, что сегодня происходит в Украине,
Because what's happening in Ukraine today
это во многом случилось потому, что
happened because
европейское сообщество закрывало глаза
in
на
many
то, что
ways,
происходит
because
в Беларуси.
of European community and society closing their eyes on what's going on in Belarus.
Вот три слова,
So 3 words,
которые вместе достаточно опасны,
which together are quite dangerous,
за которые можно, так
for
сказать,
which
лишиться работы,
it is possible to lose your job,
попасть в тюрьму,
to be in jail, be taken to jail,
либо стать политическим
or to
беженцем, как
become
случилось со
a
мной и с
political
моими
asylum,
коллегами.
which is what happened to
в 2011
myself
году.
and my colleagues in 2012.
Но на самом деле все-таки мы театр,
But we're the theatre in
и
reality.
нам более того исполнится в этом году, исполнилось
And
уже 10 лет.
We're 10 years old this year. It's our anniversary.
И все, чего мы хотели, это заниматься театром,
All that we wanted really is to make theatre,
быть крутыми.
to be cool,
Собственно, что мы и делаем.
which is what we're doing.
Просто есть особая специфика.
It's just there's a specificity to go with it.
Наш театр родился в 2005 году
Our theatre was born in 2005.
из конкурса современной
It
драматургии.
came out of the contest of contemporary dramaturgy.
Просто так получилось, что реальность, в которой мы
It
находились,
just happened that the reality we were in was
она гораздо интереснее была любой
much more
драматургии.
interesting than any dramaturgy.
Да, то есть никакой Шекспир в сравнении не
No
шел с тем,
Shakespeare can compare
с тем, что
to what
происходило.
was going on.
Поэтому нам хотелось вот это озвучивать.
So this is what we wanted to bring a voice to to
И
bring it
самый
out.
популярный как бы сорт
So
драматургии
the
это был
most popular
verbatim.
dramaturgic style was verbatim.
Это просто когда ты
verbatim.
идешь, записываешь
So when you go and record
реальные разговоры на улице,
real conversations on the street,
и потом выносишь на сцену,
and
и
then
это
you bring it to
получалась
stage,
бомба.
and that's a bomb.
Это то, чего больше всего боится власть.
That's what the power or people in power are most afraid of.
Вот, собственно, нам хотелось говорить своими голосами
So we wanted to use our voices
на те темы, которые нас волнуют. И они, в
to
общем,
voice the topics that we're worried about,
они не были там
interested in.
поначалу так политичны,
They were
как
not
в результате стали.
Political in the beginning compared to how they became political at the end.
Но когда ты живешь как бы в
But when you
условиях
live
диктатуры,
in the
правда,
conditions of dictatorship,
такая специфическая диктатура,
specific
нового образца, это
dictatorship of
диктатура с
a new
Макдональдсом.
style, it's like a McDonald's dictatorship.
Да? Да, у нас действительно есть
Yeah, we
Макдональдс.
have McDonald's.
Вот, и они очень как-то комфортно
So
проживают.
they're very comfortable together.
Тогда, соответственно,
So
когда ты живешь в такой диктатуре, да,
when you live in that kind of dictatorship,
тебе хочется говорить о каких-то проблемах, тебе хочется быть частью европейского
you want to be a part of
сообщества,
European society.
да,
You want to talk about the problems.
о своей самодификации
You want to talk about your self-identification
и так далее.
and so on and so on.
Но каждая тема запрещена.
But every topic is a taboo. It's prohibited.
Какую ты не возьми. В
Whichever
результате,
topic you take.
если ты говоришь о какой-то
So if you
самоидентификации,
talk about the self-identification,
то это становится политикой.
then it becomes political.
Потому что не может никакой идентификации.
Because you can't be identified. There is no
Ты
identification
часть
for you.
государства
You're part of the state.
и так далее и тому подобное.
And-
И любая
and
тема,
so on.
какую не возьми,
And
она
any
становится
topic you
политической.
take becomes political.
Собственно, вот так мы и стали политическим
So that's
театром.
how we became political theatre.
С другой стороны, конечно, мы
That's on one hand. On the other hand,
не могли не заметить,
We
да,
could
и не
not
говорить о том,
not
что
notice
происходило за рамками театра, государственных
what's
театров.
going on outside our theatre, in the state theatre.
Потому что когда твоих знакомых, друзей
Because when your
похищают,
colleagues and your
убивают,
friends
ну как-то
are
невозможно,
kidnapped, and when they die, and it's impossible to ignore.
невозможно просто ставить спектакли
You can't just
про
stage
принцев и так далее.
shows about princess and so on, fairy tales.
То есть вот это мы
So-
как бы оставили за собой право
So we just kept
говорить о
our
том,
right
о чем мы думаем.
to talk about the things that we think about.
Но государство немножко по-другому думало.
But the state has a different opinion to this.
Поэтому все белорусский свободный театр это такая
That's why
энциклопедия репрессий на самом
BFT
деле.
is an encyclopedia of
Потому что
repression.
все участники это профессиональные
Because
люди.
all of the people, all the participants of the theatre are professionals.
Да, в результате они просто
as a
лишены
result
права работы. Да?
of being part of BFT, they've lost their jobs.
То есть они просто не могут никуда
So
устроиться.
they can't get a job.
Мы не можем
officially.
зарегистрироваться,
We
естественно.
cannot be registered as a company
Мы не можем
in
арендовать
Belarus.
помещение,
We
чтобы
cannot
играть.
rent any spaces.
Но тем не менее мы живы. Я вам
Nevertheless,
сейчас
we're
покажу,
still
как это
alive,
происходит.
and I'm going to show you how we do it.
Мы люди из Восточной Европы,
We're
очень
people
любим
from Eastern
поболтать
Europe. We love to talk,
и показывать
and then
фотографии.
we love showing pictures.
Так что, если
So,
я затянусь,
if I'm too long,
говорите мне.
tell me.
Все началось,
Next one. So it all
это конкурс,
began
драматургический конкурс
with
«Свободный
this
театр».
contest of dramaturgy that I mentioned before.
Это тоже подпольный драматургический конкурс,
This is an
который,
underground dramaturgy contest,
который один из крупнейших на постсоветской территории.
one of the biggest ones in the post-Soviet space.
И слова действительно могут быть опасны.
So the words can be dangerous.
Это молодые драматурги и,
There's a young dramaturgist, playwright,
и как бы символика конкурса. Мы считаем, что
and
театральные
the
люди. Театр это
symbolic of
очень
this
похоже на
contest.
спорт.
We think that theatre is like sport.
Да, то есть нужно иметь большие,
You have
серьезные
to
бойцовские
have
качества.
serious fighting qualities.
Поэтому символ каждого,
So the
каждого
symbol of
конкурса
each
это
year
какой-то вид спорта.
Is
Бокс,
a sport. So that's box,
американский футбол.
the American football.
Вот это Марк Равенхилл,
This is Mark Ravenhill,
который приехал к нам.
who came to Belarus to help.
Также конкурс подразумевает номинацию Тома
Then
Стоппарда
we have
«Лучший
Tom
дебют».
Stoppard nomination, the best debut.
Это наша студентка.
This is one of our students.
Это места, в которых мы
So
играем.
this is what the places we show our performances look like.
Да, то есть понятно, что играем мы нелегально.
You understand that it's illegal.
То есть под видом
So
различных,
we have to pretend that we are staging something different.
да, там вечеринок,
So a party.
как бы вечеринок. Иногда играем на
A
частных
party.
квартирах.
Sometimes we do it in private flats.
Но надо понимать, что это игра с властью в кошки-мышки.
So it's the play with the people in power. It's like a cat and mouse game.
Да, потому что
Because
иногда мы играем на квартире, звонят
sometimes we play
КГБ.
in a flat, and then the KGB would call, just phone.
Вот это, допустим, мы играли. Да, КГБ это наследие советское.
KGB is a legacy of the USSR.
Да, то есть нас не меняли. У нас
And we didn't
в
change
Беларуси
this in
такой
Belarus.
заповедник Советского Союза.
It's the retreat. It's like a Soviet Union retreat. So if you go
с
now
КГБ и так далее.
to Belarus, we still have KGB.
Вот это вот мы играем, кстати,
So this
в кафе прямо напротив КГБ.
cafe is right opposite the KGB building in Minsk.
Да. Быстро сыграли,
So
быстро
it's just a
собрались,
really
уехали.
quick show. So we
Поэтому,
put it out, play,
поэтому
go.
наши спектакли очень
So-
страстные, но
So
короткие.
this is why our shows are very passionate and very short.
Допустим, вот это мы...
This is, for
То есть
example,
мы используем любую возможность, где
we
можно
take any
играть.
opportunity.
Это мы
to
играли практически в лесу.
This is practically in the forest.
Для этого мы сделали
So-
вид как бы деревенской свадьбы.
So we kind of staged we pretend that we are a wedding, like a village wedding.
Это было настоящее, с настоящими платьями.
So we got real dresses, and
Правда, жених и невеста, они познакомились за полчаса до свадьбы.
the bride and the groom met each other half an hour before the wedding. So
Не знаю, как сейчас сложилось.
I don't know where they're now and what their destiny is now.
Вот это баня,
This is
сауна.
a traditional sauna,
В которой это играется спектакль
And the show-
«Психоз 448» Сара Кейн.
the Psychosis 448 by Sarah Kane.
Знала бы она.
She should have known.
Это достаточно знаковое место, на самом деле.
This is a very significant place.
Это место, в котором это
This is
в Чехии
in
находится
Czech
Градечек,
Republic called Gradeček,
где Václav Gavl
where Václav Gavl,
был такой хороший человек,
there was a good person, Václav Gavl,
драматург и
who was a playwright
президент
and a president
Свободной Чехии,
of a free Czech Republic.
политический
He
заключенный
was a political
и
prisoner,
наш патрон и большой друг.
and he was our patron and our big friend.
И вот в этом месте в
And
советские,
here,
во
in this
времена
place,
советской экспансии
In
вот
times of Soviet expansion,
они работали точно
his
такими же
theater
методами.
was working in the same conditions, right in this place.
Под видом свадеб,
So they pretended there were weddings and
вечеринок
Parties
дружеских, они
and
играли спектакли. Их
friendly
арестовывали,
gatherings.
Václav Gavl
they
провел
were
много
arrested.
лет в тюрьме. и так
Gavl
далее.
spent many years in jail.
Так что вот
and
такая
so on, so-
печальная связь времен. Это
So
наш
this is a very
спектакль,
sad connection of times, and this is our show
Václav
in
Gavl
that
пригласил
place
нас сыграть.
because Václav Gavl has invited us to play there.
А вот это непосредственно
This is our home.
или
Used to
как
be
бы там
home.
хатка.
We call it in Belarusian hatka.
Это театр.
This is our theater.
Да? На самом деле это частный дом,
This is a
полуразваленный
private house, half derelict.
нашего друга,
belonged to our
состоящий
friend.
из маленьких двух комнат.
There's 2 small rooms in there.
Да? И он специально для нас пробил
Especially for
стену.
us, he broke the wall down.
И вот там мы играли. Там побывало
We
много
played in
знаковых
that
людей
house,
мировых.
and many significant people from the world
К
theater
сожалению,
came to this place,
к
actually.
сожалению, мы недолго там пробыли, власти
Unfortunately,
отобрали у нас
we
это.
couldn't stay there for long, and the government has taken that place from us.
И зрители, конечно, зрителей мы собираем
And
специфически, то есть,
we've got a specific way of gathering our audience
поскольку мы существуем нелегально,
because
естественно,
we exist illegally
поэтому в соцсетях выбрасывается
in
номер
social
телефона,
networks. We put the telephone number out.
И зрители звонят,
Then the
записываются,
audience
их
rings the
встречает
number,
человек
their
в
names are
определенном
taken down,
месте,
they meet a particular person in the city
и
somewhere,
потом он уже
and
непосредственно
this
ведет на
person brings
спектакль.
them to where the show is.
Так что каждый приходит. Да, и
So-
зрители у нас опытные, они
And
все берут
our
паспорта с
audience is
собой,
experienced, so they all take their passports with them.
потому что, да,
Yeah,
потому что если
because
придет
if
полиция,
police comes,
обычно они останавливают,
usually they
переписывают
stop the show,
паспортные
they
данные,
take all the passport numbers down and the names,
ну а потом начинаются репрессии
and
на
then
местах.
they
там.
try to repress people where they work.
Но тем не менее, если у
contact
тебя
them.
есть паспорт, есть
But
шанс, что это
nevertheless,
произойдет быстрее. Тебя
If you
перепишут
have
и
a
все, и
passport, it's
отпустят.
just quicker. They will take your name
иначе
down.
они тебя задержат.
They will let us go on, otherwise they will hold you for hours.
Вот это наша хатка.
So that was our home.
Также мы проводим...
Also, we have...
Это я как бы основные направления
I'm
показываю,
just telling you
как мы
the main
выживаем.
directions of how we survive, what we do.
Международно, опять же, подпольный
So we
фестиваль.
have, this is an international but also underground festival.
И к нам приезжает очень
And
много
we have many
актеров,
different actors who come to us
не безразличных.
and who are also passionate about what we're passionate about.
Теперь немного о спектаклях.
A little bit about the shows.
Я все хочу сказать, что все-таки мы театр.
So I still want to say that we're a theatre.
Да? Потому что нас часто путают с политической партией.
Because we get mixed up, we get taken for a political party.
Но мы не политическая
But we're not a
партия.
political party.
Просто мы отставим свое право говорить о
But
том, о чем
we
мы
reserve
считаем
our
нужным.
right to talk about what we want to talk about.
И в 2005 году,
In
когда мои
2005,
замечательные коллеги Коля и
When my
Наташа
brilliant colleagues, Natalia and Nikolai,
организовывали свободный театр,
organized this theatre,
мы собрались и решили, на какие темы мы будем
we got
говорить.
together and we started thinking about what we want to talk about.
Мы решили, что табуировано, естественно.
So we decided, okay, taboos.
Потому что это принцип наш, говорить
Because
о
that's
том,
our,
о чем
it's a
зрительный зал
principle.
молчит.
We want to talk about, our principle is to talk about something that the audience is silent about.
Нам в этом плане повезло, потому что
We were lucky.
любая тема табуирована в
Because
Беларуси.
every topic in Belarus is a taboo.
Так что источник для творчества
So there was a
бесконечный.
never-ending source of
Но
inspiration.
началось на самом деле все с
And
британской
It
драматургии.
actually began with the British dramaturgy.
Первый спектакль
The
свободного
first show
театра
was
«Психоз 448» Саракейн.
Psychosis 448 by Sarah Kane.
Собственно, я работал раньше в Национальном театре.
So I was working before BFT in the National Theatre.
После этого спектакля меня выгнали.
After I'd made this, I got fired
Потому что у нас нет суицидов. в
because we
стране.
don't have suicide in our country.
У нас нет сексуальных
And we don't have
расстройств, как это называется.
sexual disorders.
Да? Надо сказать, что наш президент вечный, он
Our
еще очень
president.
большой гомофоб.
He's a big homophobe.
Правда, это распространяется в отношении мужчин, с женщин. Он говорит, я понимаю,
but this is
просто
only
мужика
with
правильно
men.
не нашли.
He actually understands female love.
Потому что не нашли правильного мужика, он говорит.
He feels sorry for women because they couldn't find the right man.
То есть он имеет в виду себя.
So he's talking about himself, really.
Да? Это правда.
Yeah,
Это
it's the truth.
спектакль, это уже непосредственно по белорусской
So
драматургии.
this is Belarusian show, Belarusian play.
Это замечательный спектакль. То есть я хочу объяснить, как мы
I want to
работаем.
explain how we work.
Мы не ограничиваемся никакими
We
методиками.
don't limit ourselves in methodology.
Единственное, что мы хотим, это познавать
The only
реальность,
thing
которая
we want is
за
to
стенами, за
learn
кулисами
the
театра.
realities
Да,
outside
понять
the
себя.
theatre, just
Поэтому
to realize who we are.
Учились говорить мы у Сары Кейн, у Марка
So we learned how to
лидеров
speak from Sarah Kane and Ravenhill.
нью-райтинга, да?
It's new writing.
Потом мы сами научились писать.
Then we learned how to write ourselves.
Да? Поэтому часто мы используем личный опыт,
So often we use the personal experience,
документальный
the
материал.
documentary material.
Да? И это дает очень тесный эффект.
This gives very interesting
Особенно в
effects,
сочетании с,
especially if you put it together with-
допустим, с драматургией высокого класса.
with the dramaturgy of like high-class dramaturgy.
Допустим, это спектакль
For
по пьесам
example,
Пинтера,
this is
Гарольда Пинтера.
Harold Pinter. This is based on Harold Pinter.
Это зона молчания,
The Zone of Silence.
это
it's
цифры
called.
Беларуси.
The statistics about Belarus.
«Постигая любовь» — это пьеса о нашей знакомой,
Reaching
реальной
Love.
истории.
This is the show about somebody we know,
О женщине, чей муж был похищен и убит.
a woman whose husband was kidnapped and killed in
Он
Belarus
спонсировал
because he was sponsoring
оппозиционных лидеров.
oppositional leaders.
Вот это Минск 2011, это знаковый для
Minsk
нас,
2011 is a signature show for us
потому что после, как я говорил,
because after
в 2011 году многие театры,
in
по сути,
2012 after the election,
театр оказался в разных частях мира.
got split and ended up in different parts of the world.
И мы не
And
знали вообще, выживем
we
мы или
didn't
нет.
know if we're going to survive that.
И в 2011 году все-таки
And in 2011,
стала политическими
part of
беженцами,
us became political asylum seekers.
часть выжила
Other
в
part
Беларуси.
returned to Belarus
И
and
мы
survived in
собрались и
Belarus.
сделали спектакль под названием «Минск 2011»,
So we
который
made
рассказывал
2011, Minsk 2011,
о нашем личном опыте,
which would tell about our own experience
о
at
том,
that
что
time.
случилось. Минск — это столица Беларуси.
Minsk is the capital of Belarus.
Вот немного патронов наших.
These are the
Замечательные люди, без
patrons
которых мы бы же не выжили.
Without
Это Том
whom
Стоппер,
we won't survive. So Tom Stoppard,
Václav
Václav Gavil,
Kevin
Kevin
Spacey,
Spacey,
Гарольд Пинтер,
Harold Pinter.
к сожалению,
Unfortunately, he's not
Ариана
dead.
Мнушкина,
Ariana Nushkina,
Марк Рейнхилл,
Mark Ravenhill, Mick Jagger,
певец,
the singer
Стивен Спилберг,
Spielberg,
Барышников.
Baryshnikov.
Это не к тому, что вот мы
This
такие
is,
крутые.
it's not to tell you that we're so cool,
Просто для нас
but for us,
это серьезный щит.
this is our shield, serious shield.
Щит, они защищают,
They protect
они
us.
защищают нас, в общем-то, возможно, от более
They
агрессивных
probably
действий властей.
protecting us from more aggressive force, like our
А
government.
с другой стороны, они привлекают внимание к Беларуси,
And
тоже для нас.
on the other hand, they bring attention to Belarus, which is very important for us.
Это заседание борда.
This is our board
Надо сказать,
meeting.
что после того, как после последних выборов
I have to say, after the last election,
часть сказалась в Лондоне,
part of us ended up in London,
и нас приютил Дэвид Ланд,
and David Land gave us the
который приютил
roof,
многих.
who gave the roof to other people too, other
И теперь мы
theatres,
ассоциированная
and
компания
gave us an
театре
association
Янвик в Лондоне.
with Janvik Theatre in London.
Это наш борд.
This is our board.
Достаточно известные люди.
Jude Law, Sam Best,
Лора Уэйт,
Laura Waite, there,
которые очень нам помогают действительно.
who are helping us a lot, really.
Ну вот это вот наш арест.
This is we are getting arrested in this picture.
Наверное, мы можем подавать в книгу
We could
рекордов Гиннесса,
we could go on the record in the Guinness Book of Records,
потому что мы были арестованы вместе со
because
зрителями.
we got arrested together with our audience and with their children.
Короче, я не буду все дальше показывать.
I'm not gonna show you the
Я только
rest.
скажу, что
I want to
принципы
say
нашего театра мы
that
позаимствовали
those are
на самом
the
деле
principles of our theatre. We borrowed from
у сборной Голландии по футболу,
For,
чемпионов Европы 71-го, 72-го,
the
73-го года.
world champions of 71-72, the Dutch football team. You can't see this, yeah?
Да.
I'll
Они
read it.
куда-то делись, эти
I don't know where
принципы.
the principle's gone.
Но я вам напомню, это переход из защиты в нападение быстро.
Поставь слайд, пожалуйста, я не вижу.
Его нету.
Оно следует.
Его нету. Переводи
А
просто.
я не знаю.
Я говорю, переход из защиты в
So
нападение.
this is a transition from being in defense into attack.
Игра в команде,
So playing as a team is the second one.
ну и так далее, и так далее. Найдите, потому что времени нет, меня уже торопят.
Okay, we're running out of time. Yeah,
Я хочу-
sincerity and the sense of urgency.
Это то, что мы добавили
This is what we added on to it.
от нас. И я хочу сказать, что
And what I wanna say
Свободному
is
театру в этом году исполняется 10 лет.
BFT is 10 years old this year.
Мы до сих пор живы.
We're still alive.
Из Лондона я по скайпу делаю спектакли в Минске.
From London, I direct via Skype
Это
to
новые
Minsk.
техники,
This is a new technique
но это возможно.
for us, but it's possible.
Да. И в этом году мы задумали
And
серьезную вещь.
this year, we decided to do the serious
Нас
thing.
никто в Лондоне не понимает,
Nobody understands us in London.
но мы хотим показать 10
We want to
ключевых
show 10 key
спектаклей,
shows,
которые были созданы на протяжении
which we
10
made over the
лет.
last 10 years.
Да. Это не так просто, потому
It's not
что
so easy.
в Беларуси мы боролись и
Because
боремся
in
с
Belarus,
идеологической диктатурой.
we fight in the ideological dictatorship.
Теперь в
Now we're
Британии
in
мы
London.
оказались
In
немножко в
Britain,
другой
it's a
диктатуре.
different kind of dictatorship
Деньги.
of money.
И еще непонятно,
And
какая диктатура сильнее.
It's not clear yet which dictatorship is stronger.
Но мы
But
сделаем все от нас
We
зависящее,
will
так
do
что
everything that
приезжайте,
depends on
смотрите.
us. So come and watch.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Whoops.
Good morning. Sabah al-khair. Are you awakened enough? Would you like to play a game? Yes? Okay, good. Do I need this? Yes. Okay, I'll be standing here. Let's play a game. All you have to say is me, 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 me. Okay, freeze. And then, one of you, audience members, is going, while you're saying me, one of you will start either to clap or to step and say responsible with a loud voice, okay? One more time. One of you will say responsible with a loud voice, with a clap or any other sound. Go on. Me, me, me. Okay, stop. So you clapped. So everybody would clap with him. Clap. Stop. One more time, someone else will say responsible with a new kind of sound. Me, 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 me. Responsible. Yes? What did you do? Stamping? Okay. Everybody? Everybody? Stop. Okay, thank you. Why this game? That's exactly what we are trying to do at Ashtar Theatre in Palestine. We try to engage the audience. We try to give them the responsibility to be part of what is actual, what is important in life. I'm the artistic director, co-founder of Ashtar Theatre that was created in 1991. Ashtar Theatre was created in Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and now we have our theatre in Ramallah, but we function, we work not only in Ramallah, which is in the base of West Bank, but also in Gaza, in Jerusalem, and also sometimes in the territories of that was occupied in '48. Ashtar Theatre, as you could see, is an agent of socio-political change and a bearer of hope. Why? Sorry, but I had to use the map again. So, just to put you in a very quick visual concept, the map on your left side was the map before '48 or '47, in fact. The white dots are where the Jewish immigrants came and settled in Palestine. They were only 18% in 1947, 18% of the population. The UN resolution in '47 had given the 18% of the population all the white areas in the second picture. Now, with the war of '48 and the establishment of Israel, Israel, in fact, had taken all the white part, leaving the green two parts for the Palestinians as the rest of the country. The right side, this kidney part, was given to be administered by the Jordanians, and the other part, the left part, which is Gaza Strip, was given to be administered by the Egyptians. In '67, Israel had occupied the rest of the place. This is a 2000, and yesterday Ray had showed you exactly how it looks in the West Bank. So this is upon recent researches of how the West Bank is looking with the green dots, and Gaza, as we are talking is even shrinking. Okay? We are in the heart of this kidney part, which is Ramallah, and I personally live in Jerusalem. So I'm able to travel inside the West Bank and inside the other Palestinian areas occupied and is known by Israel these days. So therefore it's easy for me, but not for my company, to get out from the West Bank unless they have a permission, and it's very difficult to obtain a permission to go even in Jerusalem, which is supposedly part of the West Bank. We are not able to go into Gaza. The Gazans had been imprisoned, 1.7 million, had been imprisoned for 8 years in this little piece of land, which is 15 kilometers width and some 45 kilometers length. Please remember this, because I will be talking about it later, and I had to show you this so you would understand how we work and why we do what we're doing. The white area that yesterday Ray showed as and explained as the Jordan Valley is the area that is totally close to the Jordan River from the right side. Now, in Ashtar, we do 3 main programs. The first program is is about theater of the oppressed. And in theater of the oppressed, we have every year a performance that is based on stories from the people, from the community. We work with young people in one program, we work with the community members in another program, and we work also towards the international community. So this play that is called Al-Mirya' wal-Qurqa', which is a funny name in Arabic, which translates the herder and the bell, it is a forum play about problems of farmers in Area C. And Area C, going back to this, is all what is the white that yesterday Ray was talking to you about, okay? So, this play is really tackling issues of how farmers and semi-Bedouins who are living in the areas that yesterday were shown to you, and in the white areas of the West Bank, they are not able to cultivate, they are not able to use their land, they are not able to use the water. The West Bank is sitting, and especially Area C, is over 90% of the water resources in Palestine. Now, in Palestine, some of you might think that it does not rain, or it rains scarcely. No, it rains even more than London. We have more water, more underground resources of water than probably many of the countries around us, especially Jordan and Lebanon, because it rains a lot. But the problem is that Israel is controlling all the water, is controlling all the wells, and doesn't really give permission for the Palestinians to dig wells. So the farmers are not able to farm. They cannot really use even their products to sell in the market, in the Palestinian market. And this is another big issue. So in this play, we took 3 files. One of them is when Palestinians implant, what can they do with their products? And all the problems that they are facing with their products. So when they bring them to the Palestinian market, there's always those who are bringing the Israeli product into the Palestinian market. And this is a due, because in the Oslo Accord, the Israelis have, how do you say? The Israelis have made many laws upon the Palestinians, and so the products that Israel had done or is producing has to be in the Palestinian market. And so very little that the Palestinians are able to produce against the products that are coming from Israel. And therefore, whatever is coming out of the Palestinian land is not able to compete. So we tried with this play to really ask the audience to be more responsible, because even our police is not doing anything. Even the ministers are not really doing anything, because everybody is tied up with the Oslo Accord. So it is up to the audience. It is up to the actual citizens to choose what to buy and how to help the economy inside the Palestinian territory. So the second file was about water and the scarcity of water, and how people are being dying out of thirst because the water is not reaching them. Now, the settlements, the illegal settlements that are in the West Bank, almost every settlement has, and every house in the settlement in the Jordan Valley has a swimming pool. While people who are living there, the Palestinian community, do not even have water to drink. So, so we tried to show the stories of the people. We did a big research. We met the people. We took their stories, and we tried to put them on stage. Now, our aim is not only to show our audience, but it's also to reach with the stories of our community to decision makers, to politicians in Palestine. So we target from bottom up. We try to give voice to the community to reach out to the highest point inside of our society. The third file of this play was the house demolition. Because every time they build, as yesterday Ray was saying, every time they build, the Israelis, they come and destroy. They keep on building, they keep on destroying what the people are building. And so it's a vicious circle that has no end, because the people cannot go anywhere. Not only the Bedouins, not only those who are living in the small tin tents that you had seen, but there are villages there. I mean, big villages. There is about 45 small villages in the Jordan Valley. So we were trying to really show all the problem of this community. And these plays are plays of forum theater, which means that the audience participate in finding solutions. The second type of work that we do is international co-productions and straight plays, but that are written either newly written or devised, or like co-produced, but with a political point of view with every production that we put. 48 Minutes for Palestine is a play. In 48 minutes, we tell the whole story of the occupation. Now, this is a play without words, and it targets the international audience. Why we target the international audience? We believe that we had been suppressed, our stories had been suppressed for years. We are under the longest current occupation, 64 years of occupation. And the world does not really know our humane stories. Every time they see us on TV, they see us as casualties, they see us as oppressed under war or attack, but they don't know who we exactly are. What we can. They don't really grab our culture. They don't know that we have theaters and we have music schools and we have dancing and we have all sorts of cultural products. And by the way, cultural products are the best products coming out of Palestine because we cannot really trade except with culture and maybe oil when the Israelis allow us to bring the oil outside. So this play, no, can't be. Okay, so this is 48 minutes. The third project that I'm going to tell you about is about the Gaza monologues. The Gaza monologues is from the third program that we run. And it is to train young people. And as Vladimir was saying, he trains his people and directs via Skype. I am not able to enter Gaza at all. And I was conducting the training with the young people via Skype as well. So, so these are 33 young people in Gaza in 2008 had written their own stories about what it means to live under the attack in 2009. So the young people had written their testimonies, and then for 5 months continuously they were trained of how to be able to speak up, to write their monologues, and then they have written theirs and sent them out symbolically in boats to the world. On the 17th of October 2010, the whole world, in 14 languages, from China and Australia to Canada, about 1,500 young people in 14 languages had done the Gaza monologues around the globe. So they started in Ramallah, they started in Gaza, I mean, and then in the West Bank, and then around the world. And then we took them. We wanted to take the Gazans to the UN, but the problem is the Gazans were stuck in Gaza. They could not leave Gaza. So we invited all the participating countries, and at that time there were 50 countries who participated in that project, but 22 young people were able to arrive to New York, and we performed it to the UN ambassadors. And then we started to tour with our groups, either from Gaza or Ramallah, to different parts of the world. Those kids that started the Gaza monologues continued to do theater until this minute. In March 2014, they did The Children of Hercules. That was one of their graduation project, and they finished the 3 years program of training to become theater makers or young theater makers. Now, in summer, another war erupted on Gaza, and those young people were completely in despair because they didn't know what hit them again. Because in 2012, there was another war. But in 2014, the war lasted for 52 days. Many of their beloved ones, many of their houses were destroyed. They didn't know what to do. They were in total despair. And therefore, what we were able to do is to try and give them new hope. We tried to give them the responsibility that I was talking about in the beginning. We tried to ask them to go into the schools where the young people and their parents are, in order to give them another tool, another way to see life through theater. And so they went into the schools and they started to work with young people. I have a very short film. Sorry? 4 minutes. Yeah? So that, yes. This is the film. This is their work inside their schools. I could also talk, and these young people are now collecting stories from the school kids. They are.
بدنا نعيش، بدنا نفرح، بدنا أمان.
So they will be doing a new play about the new stories collected from the schools.
لما بدأنا الشغل كان حالة الأطفال صعب جدا، بحيث إنه أعداد كبيرة من الأطفال كانوا عاجزين عن النطق والكلام واللعب. في الأيام الأولى تغلبنا كتير بإنه نحاول ندمجهم بالمجموعة ونخليهم يقدروا يلعبوا ويتكلموا.
They were able to reach about 900 young people, and now they are continuing into 3 more months to reach another 900. So every 3 months they are going into about 10 schools to work with the children of age 10 to 12, sorry.
الحرب طبعا أنا مش حاب أحكي كثير عن الحرب، لأنه بعتقد كل العالم شافوا وسمعوا قسوة الحرب وبشاعتها، وخصوصا على الأطفال اللي ما لهمش أي ذنب في كل الصراع اللي بيصير.
ما بدنا حصار، ما بدنا دمار، ما بدنا موت، ما بدنا حرب.
بعد عدة لقاءات من التدريبات استطاعوا انهم يندمجوا ويتكلموا ويلعبوا ويثقوا في المدربين، وازدادت ثقتهم بنفسهم، وطبعا هذا انعكس على كل المدرسة وعلى كل المدارس اللي اشتغلنا معاهم.
المجهودات اللي بيتم تقديمها مجهودات كتير رائعة، وإلها دورها طبعا الإيجابي في تفريغ الطاقة السلبية الموجودة للطالبات، وهذا أكيد تم ملاحظته من خلال ممارسة هذه الأنشطة المتنوعة والمميزة بصراحة. بتمنى أن الأنشطة هذه يتم تطبيقها على الفئات العمرية كالوالدين، يتم تطبيقها على الهيئة التدريسية، المعلمات، المرشدين التربويين، لأنه لها أثر إيجابي كتير في تهيئتهم بعد في ظل وجود الظروف الحرب اللي هم عانوا منها.
بعض الأنشطة من خلال بعض التمارين، من خلال بعض الألعاب التفريغية اللي ممكن من خلالها الطالبات يفرغوا الطاقة السلبية اللي جواتهم وينشحنوا بطاقة إيجابية كويسة وحلوة ويواصلوا العملية التربوية أو العملية التعليمية بدافعية أفضل وبتفاؤل أكثر بالمدرسة.
So, I mean, while you're watching, the aim is also, my aim, my future aim is to take the Gaza monologues, kids, children, now young adults, if I may or if I can take them out of Gaza, the aim is to take them and perform to the European parliaments. So this is my target for next year, and this is what I'm hoping for, and I already have started this direction, and I already have started speaking with parliamentarians, and we hope that there will be a way to take these young people and their stories and be told to the politicians and the parliamentarians. And the main aim is really to reach out to those who are making decisions, political decisions that concern our life. So I stop here, and I thank you very much for following with me. And the Gaza Monologues book is out there. If you are interested, you could find it in the lobby. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Well, thanks very much to our speakers for papers that were not just informative, but just genuinely inspiring, I have to say. And thanks also for cutting your papers short. I know there's so much more to say, but it means that we've got about 10 minutes for questions, which is brilliant. So yeah, Pádraig Yates is due on stage in 10 minutes and Marina Carr in half an hour. We will take questions, but as in the previous days, can I ask you please to ask questions rather than make comments. Let's take maybe 2 questions and see how we get on. Is that okay? And there are roving mics as well. So I think I can see, is there one? Any questions or comments? Oh, okay. Well, can you use the mic just for the purposes of recording, please?
Thank you very much for excellent talks. The lady from Palestine, have your shows been seen by Israeli audiences? And the second part of that is there any equivalent to you in Israel?
Okay. Are there other questions? Yeah, there's one over here. Do we have a mic on the, this side of the house?
Thank you. My question was also directed towards you. It was regard to, you said you were trying to lobby politicians to show this to members of parliament. I'm just wondering what the Irish reaction was from our own government towards what you're doing.
Okay, so do you want to take those 2 questions then, please?
Okay. Yeah. Okay, in regard to the first question, I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. I know that some of our work, well, all of our work is on YouTube. So the Israeli audience could really see it. We're not working in the shade, we're working under the light. Now, we do not go and perform to the Israeli audience because, as I said before, we're not allowed to move. So we do not have the permission. And whether there is an equivalent, I hope, but I don't think. There is some people who are trying to do theater with the community, but what they are trying to do is they come and work with the Palestinians. Personally, with my humble opinion, I believe that the Israelis have to do much, much more, especially the Israeli artists. They have a lot to do with their community, and they have to change their own mentality before they really come and work with us, because we know what is good or bad, or what we need and what we do not need in our community. The second question, I hope so. I spoke to Fier and another parliamentarian member, excuse me if he's in the audience, I don't remember the name, but I mentioned while I'm here. But I hope that it is going to happen, because already we have interest in the British and in the German, some of the German parliaments. So I hope that the Irish Parliament will take it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Would anybody else like to ask a question? Yeah, so down here at the front. Yes.
Hi, I'd like to ask Vladimir, how do you direct by Skype?
It's very interesting.
Меня слышно? Ну, это не просто было привыкать.
It's not easy to get used to.
Потому что я очень эмоционально репетирую.
I am very emotional when I'm in rehearsals.
Поэтому я никого не пускаю на свои репетиции.
That's why nobody can enter my rehearsal space.
Ну, я из диктатуры, поэтому
Because I'm from the dictatorship, hence my methods are methods of dictator.
Но для актеров это плюс.
But for the actors it's a big plus.
Потому что когда я перехожу на повышенные
Because
тона,
when I go into my high tones,
я их прошу, вы показываете мне, что вы меня не слышите.
I ask them on Skype to gesticulate that they can't hear me.
И они показывают, мы тебя не слышим.
They show me, we can't hear you. We're going to call you back.
Сейчас-то я уже нормально, но это как снимать фильмы вслепую.
Now it's okay. It's like to direct films or film films when you're blind.
Знаете, у Вуди Аллена был такой фильм.
Woody Allen had a film like that, I think.
И получил типа в Каннах приз.
Got a Cannes prize.
Ну, я прошу, меня носят.
So I ask them to carry me.
То есть отнесите меня там в
Take
тот угол.
me over there.
Ага, а это кто?
And then who is this?
Я вижу пиксели.
So I just see pixels.
Да, и вот на уровне пикселей режиссер.
On the level of pixels, I direct.
Ко всему можно приспособиться, было бы желание.
You can get used to everything if you have a desire to do so.
Do you want to say something about Skype directing as well? Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, it is also very difficult, of course, because sometimes the net is totally broken and down, and then you have to really direct. I mean, they were 33 young people, and I did not know them when I started working with them. So I had to memorize their name, and every time they would come in front of me, I would say, I mean, is this or that, or and so. It is a hard job, but I was very lucky also to have Ali Abu Yassin, who's my assistant, who is living there in Gaza, and he was the one who continued with them on a much more regular basis.
Okay, now there was a gentleman at the front here who had a question, yeah.
My question concerns Palestine. I'm just wondering what connections, if any, what collaboration you may have with the Freedom Theatre in Jenin. Thank you. Thank you.
That's for you, I think. Or is
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're friends and we're colleagues and we work together. And so we visit and we plan certain programs. And we implement a few things together. We have a network of performing arts organizations, and we are together in that network. Thank you.
I'd just like to ask Frédérique a question, if I may. It's just I was very taken by what she said about, you know, countries in the West bringing arms in one hand and then peace initiatives in the other. Could you just say a bit more about what you described as being part of the peace industry? And how, as a theatre maker, you square that circle?
Ah la la.
Yeah, and you've got a minute, by the way.
The question I don't want to answer. Okay. Well, I don't know if anybody knows about peace industry. You already heard this term? Yes? Okay. Then, because we bring the money to make peace, to bring peace, the Western people, with a lot of, they knows the problem. That's what Iman say, we knows what the problem is, we know how to fix it, and we know what to do, and what not to do, and so on. And the people I meet, I hope I'm not a part of it, but in one hand I am, are very proud of their efficiency. But the money they put into the peace industry comes back to Europe or to United States. And then this is an industry, of course, and it works well, very well. On the other hand, it's the same part of a process which the people are, for example, in Congo, bringing war into the Congo, make easier to take the mines, the coltan, the gold, and so on, and putting an instability inside the Congo, and after bringing peacekeeper, it's the same process. And what I say that the child soldiers are a stage of this kind of thing, and doing theater, well, it's the only place when we can speak about that. But even the people, the peacekeepers, don't want me to say that. Then, in one hand, I can't speak about that, but I have to, because this is the role of theater, of course.
Okay, I'm really sorry because there's so much more to say, so many more questions to ask, but Porrick Gates is due on, yeah, you want... Yeah, okay, so I was about to say we were going to wrap it up because we're out of time, but yeah, one last comment then.
Могу я попросить поставить видео?
Can I ask you to show the short video that
50 секунд.
Is 50 seconds?
I really don't think we can because the next paper is only 20 minutes. I don't. Can I suggest maybe? I mean, if this might be an alternative.
It's 50 seconds.
Мой партнер Алекс, он сказал.
Is my partner Alex?
Он сказал, ты можешь ничего не рассказать, только покажи это видео.
Okay.
My partner Alex said, just show this video, don't talk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go on, yep.
Это как раз спектакль, последний спектакль свободного театра, посвященный. Он называется «Цена денег».
It's called The Price of Money.
И он как раз о деньгах.
It's about money and about the price that we pay for money.
We bring you 5 scenes, 5 secrets on how to get rich quick, which you won't find anywhere else. Stars only.
Okay. That's a great place to leave it. So can you all please join with me in thanking our 3 speakers and also our interpreter for a great panel. Thanks,